Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into the incredible story our clothes tell about us. We're going to journey from the super rigid corsets of the past all the way to the rebellious styles of counterculture. You're about to see how fashion is so much more than just fabric. It's basically a living, breathing record of history. Let's get into it.
So let me just start by asking you a question. What story are your clothes telling? I mean, seriously, take a quick look at what you're wearing right now. It might feel like you just threw something on, but every single piece, from your t-shirt to your sneakers, has a history and a much deeper meaning.
And oh, you bet they tell a story. Whether we even realize it or not, our clothes are like a mirror. They reflect our society's values, all its huge cultural shifts, and its most defining historical moments. They're literally a visual diary of who we are as people.
To really understand this story, we have to go back, way back. We're starting in an era where fashion wasn't about personal expression at all. It was all about control. This was the age of restriction, a time when what you wore was specifically designed to enforce social norms, hierarchy, and even how you stood.
And that control, it started from the inside out, with an undergarment called stays. But don't think of this as just clothing. This was basically architecture for the body. This bone bodice was built to create a perfectly stiff, cone-shaped torso, literally molding a woman's body into the ideal and, frankly, pretty unnatural silhouette of the time.
And you can just watch how this silhouette of control evolved. Back in the 1760s, you had pocket hoops that made hips so wide that just walking through a doorway was a challenge. A pretty obvious sign of status, right? Then you fast forward to the 1860s and these huge ball gown skirts come back, totally limiting your ability to move. And by the 1900s, the S-curve corset was creating this wild, completely unnatural shape. Every single evolution physically restricted the wearer, constantly reminding her of her place in society.
And when you put them side by side like this, wow, it's night and day. You're looking at two completely different worlds. On one side, you've got the silhouette of restriction, all about forced posture and not being able to move, and on the other, the beginning of the silhouette of freedom, defined by a loose shape and being able to, actually walk around. This massive shift really set the stage for a full-on rebellion.
And that rebellion brings us right into our next chapter, rebellion in fabric. This is the big turning point, where fashion flips from being a tool of control into a powerful statement of liberation and massive social change.
Now, you can't talk about this rebellion without talking about a key figure, the one and only Coco Chanel. Her whole philosophy, which you see right here, was just revolutionary. After centuries of being squeezed and structured, her idea of giving women comfortable clothes that would flow with their bodies was radical. This wasn't just about feeling good, it was about giving women the physical freedom to actually live in the modern world.
And that rebellious spirit just kept popping up all through the 20th century. It kicked off with the 1920s flapper, right? Her loose dress wasn't just saying no to the corset, it was giving her the freedom to dance the Charleston. Then you have the 1950s youth, whose leather jackets were a clear signal that they were breaking away from their parents' cookie-cutter world. The 60s youthquake used miniskirts and bell-bottoms as uniforms for protest. And by the 90s, grunge fashion was this raw, messy rejection of all that 80s corporate excess. In every single one of these moments, clothing was a weapon.
But here's the thing. This rebellion wasn't just about what people were wearing, it was also about who could wear it. And that leads us to the democratization of fashion, a journey from the super exclusive elite to, well, everyone. We're calling this one Style for the People.
So how did fashion get from the penthouse to the pavement? Well, for centuries, it was a totally top-down game. It all started with haute couture, these custom, ridiculously expensive clothes for the super wealthy. Then came ready-to-wear, which gave us standardized sizes and made styles way more accessible. In the 2000s, fast fashion put that whole process on hyperdrive, copying runway looks almost overnight. But the biggest change is what's happening right now, street style. Thanks to social media, trends are bubbling up from the ground, not just trickling down from the runway. Influence is now a two-way street, and that, my friends, changes the entire game.
All of this history, all of these shifts bring us right to this moment, and to our final chapter, the future we wear. This is where we are now, an era that's defined by totally new challenges, mind-blowing technologies, and brand new ways of expressing who we are.
The fashion conversation today is way more complex than it's ever been. It's not just about what looks good anymore. Now, we're talking about sustainability and demanding ethical, eco-friendly clothes. We're pushing for real inclusivity that represents all sizes, genders, and cultures. Technology is completely flipping the script with everything from digital clothes to 3D printed outfits. And maybe the most important thing is that all of this is fueling a huge shift toward true individualism, where creating your own unique style is so much more valuable than just chasing the latest trend.
And so that brings us full circle. If our clothes really do tell our story, a story of restriction, then rebellion, then access, and now a new kind of responsibility, it leaves us with one last big question. What's the next chapter going to look like? What story will you choose to tell?